I never thought someone I hadn't even met could make me cry, not because of heartbreak, not because of loss, not because life had knocked me down again, but because one quiet thought changed something inside me forever. There's something I've never told many people. For most of my life, I tried to convince myself that I didn't need anyone. I grew up hearing the same messages a lot of us hear. Be strong, keep moving, handle your problems alone, don't let people see you struggle, and never let emotions slow you down. So I listened. I became good at hiding things, good at smiling when I felt empty, good at saying I'm fine when I wasn't, good at carrying burdens nobody knew existed. Little by little, I built walls around myself. Not because I wanted to, but because I thought that was what I was supposed to do. After enough years, those walls became part of who I was. I stopped expecting people to understand me. I stopped expecting anyone to stay. I stopped imagining what real love might look like. I told myself I was focused on other things, work, goals, responsibilities, and the future. Anything except the quiet desire buried deep inside me, the desire to share my life with someone, the desire to build something meaningful with another person, the desire to come home one day and know I wasn't walking through life alone anymore. I ignored that feeling for years. Then one night, everything changed. It wasn't a dramatic moment. Nothing special happened, no life-changing event, no movie scene, no grand realization, just silence. The kind of silence that only exists late at night when the world finally slows down. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The room was dark, the house was quiet, and my mind started wandering. Out of nowhere, a thought crossed my mind. Somewhere in this world, the person I'm going to spend my life with is alive right now. At that exact moment, she was living her own life. Maybe she was asleep. Maybe she was reading. Maybe she was talking to a friend. Maybe she was laughing. Maybe she was crying. Maybe she was wondering if love would ever find her. The strange thing was that I didn't know her. I didn't know her name, her face, where she lived, or anything about her. Yet somehow that thought hit me harder than I could explain. For the first time, the future stopped feeling like an idea. It felt real. She felt real. Suddenly, every wall I had spent years building started cracking. I found myself imagining her life, the challenges she was facing, the battles she was fighting that nobody else could see, the fears she carried, the dreams she protected, the moments that made her smile, and the moments that broke her heart. I wondered whether she had survived disappointments that almost convinced her to give up. I wondered whether she had ever sat alone and questioned her worth, whether she had ever felt invisible, whether she had ever cried herself to sleep. The more I thought about it, the more emotional I became. Because if she was out there somewhere carrying all of that, there was nothing I could do to help her. Not yet. I couldn't comfort her. I couldn't encourage her. I couldn't tell her everything would be okay. I couldn't remind her of how valuable she was. I couldn't hold her hand through difficult moments. I couldn't be there. And somehow, that realization broke me. I felt my chest tighten, my eyes started burning. Before I knew it, tears were running down my face. Not tears of sadness, not tears of grief, not tears of regret. Tears of hope, because for the first time I realized something important. Love doesn't always begin when two people meet. Sometimes love begins when you start preparing your heart for someone you haven't met yet. Sometimes it begins with faith, patience, expectation, and the belief that something beautiful is being written, even when you can't see the pages. I lay there in the darkness and cried. Strangely enough, I felt stronger afterward. Those tears came from a place I had ignored for too long, a place that still believed, a place that still hoped, a place that still trusted that someday, somehow, two stories would find each other. The truth is, I'm not perfect, far from it. I've made mistakes. I've hurt people unintentionally. I've made decisions I regret. I've wasted opportunities. I've doubted myself more times than I can count. There have been days when I looked in the mirror and didn't like the person staring back at me. Days when I questioned my purpose. Days when I felt completely lost. Days when I wondered whether I would ever become the person I wanted to be. During those moments, a question always found its way into my mind. Who would want to build a life with someone who still has so much to figure out? Who would choose someone with flaws like mine? Who would choose someone who is still learning, still growing, still healing? But every time those thoughts appeared, another thought followed. Maybe the person I'm searching for is growing too. Maybe she's learning lessons I can't see. Maybe she's healing from wounds I know nothing about. Maybe she's becoming exactly who she needs to be. And maybe I am too. That thought changed the way I looked at waiting. Waiting isn't just about time passing. Waiting is about transformation. It's about becoming. It's about learning things now that will matter later. It's about growing into the person you need to be before someone else trusts you with their heart. And growth isn't comfortable. Growth humbles you. Growth exposes things you'd rather ignore. Growth forces you to confront your weaknesses and insecurities. It shines light on areas of your life that need work. There were times I wanted certainty without patience, answers without waiting, the destination without the process. But life doesn't work that way. Sometimes the waiting itself is the lesson. Sometimes the delay is the preparation. Sometimes what feels like a pause is actually progress happening beneath the surface. While I've been growing, I've spent a lot of time thinking about the person I'll eventually meet. I wonder what she's like. I wonder what kind of childhood she had. I wonder what memories shaped her. I wonder what experiences taught her strength and kindness. I wonder what made her laugh so hard she couldn't breathe. I wonder what made her cry when nobody was watching. I wonder what songs she listens to when she's driving alone. I wonder what dreams she keeps hidden because she's afraid people will tell her they're impossible. I wonder what she's afraid of. Not surface-level fears, but the deep ones. The fear of being rejected. The fear of not being enough. The fear of giving your whole heart to someone who doesn't know how to care for it. The fear of trusting the wrong person. The fear of disappointment. The fear of being misunderstood. If she carries fears like those, I hope life is teaching her that her value has never depended on whether someone else recognized it. I hope it's teaching her that she doesn't need to become less of herself to be loved. The older I get, the more I realize love isn't just about finding someone attractive. It's about finding someone whose soul feels familiar, someone whose presence feels like peace, someone you can build a life with when everything is going well and when everything is falling apart, someone who stays, someone who chooses you repeatedly, not once, not occasionally, but every single day. That's why I've started making promises to someone I haven't met yet. I promise I'll keep growing. I promise I'll keep working on myself. I promise I won't stop learning. I promise I'll become a better listener, a better communicator, a better partner, and a better human being. Because someday another person may trust me with their heart, and that responsibility deserves preparation. I promise I'll choose her on the difficult days too. Not just when everything feels easy. Not just when we're smiling. I'll choose her when life gets messy, when disagreements happen, when stress appears, and when neither of us feels like the best version of ourselves. Because real love isn't measured by how people act when things are easy. It's revealed by how they act when things are hard. I promise I'll create a safe place for her, a place where she doesn't have to pretend, a place where she can be honest, a place where she can show up exactly as she is. No masks, no performances, no fear, just truth. I promise I'll respect her dreams, her opinions, her boundaries, her individuality, and the person she is becoming. There's something else I've realized while waiting. A lot of people think patience is peaceful. Sometimes it is, but sometimes patience hurts. Sometimes patience means watching life move forward while you wonder when your turn will come. Sometimes patience means celebrating other people's happiness while quietly longing for your own. Sometimes patience means trusting something you cannot see. There have been moments when I questioned everything. Moments when loneliness felt heavier than usual. Moments when giving up would have been easier. But every time I reached that point, something inside me refused to quit, a quiet voice reminding me that meaningful things are worth waiting for, that not every good thing arrives quickly, that some stories take longer to unfold. I often imagine what that first meeting might feel like. Not the movie version, the real version. Maybe it starts as a simple conversation. Maybe neither of us realizes what's happening at first. But I imagine there will be a moment when something shifts. A moment when we both realize this connection feels different. A moment when two separate journeys finally intersect. I think that moment will carry the weight of every lesson that came before it. Every disappointment, every setback, every lonely night, every unanswered question, every season of growth. Suddenly all of it will matter because it will finally make sense. When I think about the future, I don't imagine perfection. I imagine ordinary moments, shared coffee, long conversations, inside jokes, grocery store trips, late-night drives, cooking together and making mistakes, laughing over things nobody else would understand, the comfort of presence, the beauty of routine, the peace of knowing someone is beside you. I imagine difficult moments too, arguments, stress, unexpected challenges, life-changing plans without permission. Because real love exists inside reality, not outside it. I imagine two imperfect people learning how to navigate life together, learning how to apologize, forgive, communicate and grow. Choosing each other again and again because it's worth it. If the person I'm waiting for could hear me, there's something I want her to know. I know life may not have been easy. I know there may have been moments when you questioned your worth. Moments when people failed to appreciate what made you special. Moments when you felt unseen. But none of those moments get the final word. Your value was never determined by someone else's inability to recognize it. As for me, I'm still becoming too, still learning, still growing, still healing, still preparing, still trusting. And yes, sometimes I still get emotional thinking about someone I haven't met, because hope has a strange way of touching places logic can't reach. Hope reminds us that tomorrow exists. Hope reminds us that unfinished stories continue. Hope reminds us that the best chapters may still be ahead. So wherever she is right now, I hope she's okay. I hope she's finding reasons to smile. I hope she's discovering her strength. I hope she's protecting her peace. I hope she's chasing her dreams. I hope she's becoming everything she's meant to be. And until our paths cross, I'll keep doing the same. Because if there's one thing life has taught me, it's this. Some things are worth waiting for. Some people are worth waiting for. And when the right moment finally arrives, every tear, every lesson, every season of growth, and every mile of the journey will have been preparing us for the same destination. So wherever you are, whoever you are, know this. I haven't met you yet, but your existence has already changed me. You've taught me patience before introducing yourself. You've taught me hope without saying a word. You've reminded me to keep my heart open. So I'll wait, not passively, not desperately, but faithfully. I'll keep becoming the person I'm meant to be, and when our stories finally meet, I hope we both realize that none of it was wasted. Not the waiting, not the heartbreak, not the loneliness, not the lessons, not the tears. Every part of it was shaping us, preparing us, and guiding us toward the same destination. And when that day comes, I think I'll probably cry again, not because I'm sad, not because I'm overwhelmed, but because I'll finally be standing in front of the person I spent so many years believing was out there, the person who turned hope into reality, the person who made all the waiting make sense. Until then, however long it takes, I'll keep moving forward, I'll keep trusting, I'll keep growing, and I'll keep believing that somewhere in this vast world, another heart is moving through its own journey toward the same destination. So take your time, become who you need to become. I'll do the same. And when life decides the moment is right, we'll meet. Until then, I'll wait.